finally gotten to the point where the Jaguars have now publicly started to sound the way this season has gone. The truth is always easy to tell, and we'll do it here on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is your team every day here on Locked On Jaguars, and we thank you for making us your first listen. A reminder that you can find us wherever you get your podcast, whether you watch them or you listen to them. Make sure you tap into that location each and every day so you do not miss an episode. Today that is brought to you by FanDuel. You can end the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Shout out again to the everydayers for joining us here every day on Locked On Jaguars. Glad to have you all here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to finally just get to it, man. You know, you got people talking about how we have to have hard conversations. Conversations are never hard if you're telling the truth. They're only hard, in my opinion, if you're trying to convince someone of something that you don't even know is the truth. I tell you what, I don't have to convince anybody of. That 3-12 Jaguars might go down as one of the worst teams I've ever seen relative to expectations. There have been some bad teams. The Jaguars had a team a couple of years ago that I think they won like 2 games. They were terrible. But we expected it because the talent level was bad. We expected it because we knew the talent level was bad. How about that one? This version of the Jaguars, we actually thought they were better than that. I was cautiously optimistic that they were better and that I would have to at some point say, hey, Mr. Balky, I get it. You got it, man. You know, you figured it out, and I was wrong about you. Doug, you know, I gave you the benefit of the doubt too when you fired coaches last year. And I recall hearing that one of those guys screamed, we're trying to help you. You're letting all the help go. It turns out that they were right. This organization is in a terrible position. There's no reason they should be here. Doug Peterson stood up yesterday and was like, at some point you think they just get it, basically. And I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, fumbles, jumping off sides. At some point, it looked like to me he was pointing all the fingers at the defense too. About the penalties. He may have talked about the offense, but I'm thinking he's more or less talking about the back-to-back offsides that the defense had. It's bad. Dewey Wingard. I'll talk about Dewey a little bit in segment 2. But even now, players are saying, we ain't making no excuses. We just a bad team, man, basically. Nobody's sitting around. Remember coming into this season, they said that they were sitting around. They were basically waiting for it to click. Do y'all remember that? They were waiting. They were waiting for something to happen. So the mantra this year was supposedly, we're not going to sit around and wait anymore. We're going to dictate it. They changed defensive coordinators. They told us about this attacking style that everything's going to be in front of them. Everything's going to be downhill. The linemen, you know, you're going to have an odd front, different fronts, taking care of the personnel, taking advantage of the personnel, athletes all over the place, length, strength, violence, man-to-man, keep it all in front of you, hit everything that moves. Remember all that stuff we were talking about? They don't do none of that crap, man. They don't. They just don't do it. You can talk about it. You can be about it. I remember Chris Richard came in and he was looking like a drill sergeant when he was talking to people and looking as a matter of fact. I remember Gene Fournette asked him a question. And he was like, do you think? He said, I don't think I know. This isn't what I know. It's not what I think. I'm like, okay, all right, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, I guess. Do you still know? Are you still that sure? Why? How come the players play like they don't know? Guys releasing dudes, people running wide open, expecting somebody to help them. Cats missing tackles all over the place. Can they hit? See, we got to get beyond the fact that folks know how to talk a game, right? Even Ryan Nielsen, I heard a bunch of good things about Ryan Nielsen. I didn't want that old defensive staff to be gone, but I get it. Doug wasn't going to fire himself, right? Y'all can actually look back at that moment and say, they got worse after that. They got worse. They're not better. They can't change it. These are the people that thought that this was going to. Doug Peterson has been clear. He was not the one that told Shad Khan that this is the most talented team. I wonder who did that, or if somebody actually told Shad that. Whoever that is, Shad needs to get them out of there too. The finger pointing part, man, we don't even need to do it. You can feel it. You can just feel it. You can tell. Nobody knows why these things are happening. Not even the people that are doing them. Apparently, the players don't even know. What went wrong here? I think by trying to find out what went wrong, you did have to ask yourself, okay, wait, let's not do that because everything went wrong. What went right? What didn't go far enough? What didn't happen for this team to be who they're supposed to be? They have no identity on defense or offense. None whatsoever. Even when Trevor was healthy, man, they looked like they came out every day. And no disrespect to Doug Marrone, but I remember Doug Marrone came out and said, we need to try to throw something against the wall to see if it sticks. And I thought they're cooked because that is not the way a really good football team that is intentional, that is deliberate, that's not the way they go about business. You know what the result is going to be when you walk out or the one that you're trying to create. You're not guessing. Guess what the Jaguars look like? They look like a team that's guessing everything. They're guessing everything. And I don't know at what point you can go up the pole to get to the part where you go, this is the big problem. I just think you need to change the whole thing. Don't even try to dance around and to figure it out, man. You tried that last year when you fired the defensive staff. And those guys, a lot of those guys are in places that are prospering. Not all of them, but some of them. They're in other places that are doing well. And the Jaguars just aren't doing well. The players don't appear to be getting better than they have been in the past. I'm going to try to read this quote from Dewey Wingard yesterday in segment number 2. And it's going to tell you exactly how I feel, how most fans feel about the Jaguars season. You'll be able to hear the disappointment in his voice about how this season has gone. And I can tell you right now, either Dewey's going to be here next year and those guys won't, or they'll be here and he won't, but I don't think they're going to be here together. We'll talk about that more here on Locked On Jaguars in just a second. Today's show is sponsored and brought to you by Prize Picks. If you love watching the game, you're going to love Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy. Whether it's football, basketball, or any of your favorite sports, Prize Picks makes your holidays bigger and brighter. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Plus, this holiday season, they're giving away $30 million in rewards during Picksmas, offering 2 free weeks or 2 free picks in December. And when your picks hit, Prize Picks makes it easy to cash out. You can get your money in as fast as 15 minutes. This week, I'm looking at Jared Goff for more than 230 passing yards and Saquon Barkley for more than 1 touchdown. It's simple, quick, and so much fun to challenge myself with my friends. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. That's right, $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, moving along here on Locked On Jaguars, where it's your team every day. We thank you for making us your first listen. Dewey Wingard after the game yesterday, Andrew Wingard, safety, who had been out a while or early in the year on IR with an injury, has been back for a few weeks now, hasn't been playing much. Played yesterday, played well. And then after the game kind of sounded off a little bit. We do not have the sound bite, but I can tell you the gist of what he said. And that is that he's been healthy. Should have been out there playing, but he wasn't. They just didn't have him on the field. And I told you this a couple of weeks ago. I said the Jaguars are looking at the young guys. They're playing the youth movement. They're looking at them all. And then somebody even said, how'd you play so well today or something like that? And Dewey said, I made plays. That's what I do. And they asked him if he had been on a pitch count. He said, nah, I ain't been on a pitch count. Just wasn't playing. They didn't put me in. And then he was asked about all the mistakes. And he said, yeah, we've been doing it all year. We ain't putting that on today. And injuries. And this has been happening all year. Ain't nothing happened today that ain't been happening. Ain't nothing new under the sun here. It's been going on all year. We ain't putting that on injuries. We ain't putting that on nobody else, making that nobody else's responsibility. It's us. Just dumb mistakes, doing this, doing that. It really, really sounded. And then the dude, man, they broke it down. They said, for people watching or something, and they asked him a question. He says, we're used to it. Basically being bad. We're used to it. Ain't nothing new. We used to being terrible. So, I mean, let me explain something about the truth, man. They always say the truth will set you free. Being willing to tell the truth like that will set a lot of people free too. I know there's a lot of times that things are a need-to-know basis, and there are a lot of situations where okay, there's no reason for a player to do or say certain stuff and let things out. But when it's time to do it, just be as straight up and as honest. Don't even play around with it, because what it appears is a lot of people in that building could learn a lot from Dewey Wingard. Everybody hasn't done a nice job. When somebody questions the GM, whenever they do get a chance to talk to him on the record, I ain't talking about no off the record stuff. I'm talking about on the record. He never wants to go back and acknowledge the past. Never does. Never wants to acknowledge his mistakes and what he did wrong. Always, then I've even heard him say, everybody thinks that they can do this until they get. No, we don't think we can do anything. We think you're supposed to be doing it better than you're doing it. So these people, they always try to deflect, right? And it usually ends up making you think, okay, they got something to hide, or I just don't want to even. They're going to play coy. They're going to play these little games. And that's the part. I think when Doug got frustrated, and it was unfortunate because Brent Martineau is a very professional person. Doug said he wasn't going to get into something, but we wouldn't understand it anyway, or whatever. And then he came back the next day. I thought it was a little bush league, but I saw the raw anger and I saw the disappointment, and it was almost like a coach that knows he was set up from the go because he doesn't have all of the things he actually needs to win. And he's just trying to win with the stuff that people have been putting out there for him. And, part of that could be true. The other part of it could be the team could be a little bit more tough, and they could be a little bit more honest. And at least honest with the players, with that rotation system and all of that stuff. There's just been so many missteps that there's no reason to sit and try to figure out who the problem is. It's just that when somebody is genuine and honest, even if they're rude, it still comes across way better than it does is acting like things are sunshine and rainbows. We have all seen this team this year. Every single person, in my opinion, that heard what Andrew Wingard said yesterday and saw the way that he spoke can say to themselves, that's how I feel. And that's how I've been feeling all year long. But we're just seeing it right now in week 15. I think because everybody knows, okay, there's no need to hold back anymore. And now they ain't even trying to really win because they're not putting the better pieces on the. They want to evaluate the young players. And I know there's people that subscribe to it and think, okay, that's a cool thing to do because you get a high draft pick and all of this, or we get a chance just to evaluate people. They're not playing people that they know that they probably won't be here next year, whether they're here, the decision makers or not. Guys whose contracts are running out, I guess they're going to just go ahead and let the people who are still under contract get a lot of these snaps. So guys like that can come out and sit here and tell you exactly what's on their mind, it's pure gold when they do it, because usually if you listen to them, they sound exactly the way fans feel. We've been feeling like that all year. The way Dewey Wingard sounds, that is exactly how everyone has been feeling. But it's been sunshine and rainbows. It's been about people not quitting. It's been about everybody getting along. Kumbaya. It just tells me that they wanted you to believe that everybody was not cool with, but everybody was quickly able to get over the fact that they were having a bad season on the football field in the win column. And I'm sorry, it doesn't fly. For me, everybody's been too calm this year about a team that has 3 wins. The Jaguars are right now preparing to pick second in the draft. Second, I think. I think they're right behind the Giants. It makes no sense to me, man. It just that there haven't been more people angry about the way that this season has gone. Everybody's just handled this with such class. This is the most, is tepid the word? It is the most nice, it's the nicest group of people you ever seen who should be mad right now. Yesterday with Dewey Wingard was the first time we heard anybody kind of come outside of the box and go, you know what? This is some BS, man. I'm tired of losing. I'm sick of it. I thought I heard a little bit of it in Trevor's voice, and I heard it once or twice with Doug Peterson. Other than that, it's just business as usual. It's like, well, we're trying hard, man. Everybody's staying together. Things haven't gone our way. Is that how you feel? Tell you what, fans, is that how you feel? Or are you just sick to your stomach at how bad this organization is? Or do you just feel like, you know what, man, everybody's giving it their best shot, man. We're doing the best we can. Can't tell you, I can't put my finger on it why we can't. Yeah. And to me, that's why Shad needs to put his finger on the pen and grab a pink slip and sign it and get everybody from over there who's responsible for this foolishness out of there. And that's just about everybody involved in football decisions. Just as simple as that. Ain't nothing else to really talk about, man. Shout out to Dewey Wingard for acting the way all of us feel all year, have felt all year. Appreciate you. I get the feeling that there are, when you see teams continue to make the same mistakes over and over again, that bad play is being allowed. And this is where I'm really, really going to criticize Doug. And like I said, Doug is a professional. Doug is night and day. It's 180 degrees from Urban Meyer. Always super, super respectful for the most part. He's never been disrespectful to me. I think a coach that coaches his way has this sort of calming, favorite uncle type approach. A person like that, you have to have reverence for them, because they're not going to be on you every day. They're not going to be all in your face. It's just got to be a person that you don't want to disappoint. And it doesn't seem like the team plays like that. In fact, it played the other way, because I think bad plays are allowed. And this is where the criticism gets a little bit loud for Doug, from me. I'll talk about that in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars. Today's show is sponsored and brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action, as there are a couple of weeks left in the season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It's real thrilling to sit and figure out how you think the game's going to go, and then actually make a wager on it, and it happens and you win. It makes you feel really, really smart, and it puts money in your pocket. You can bet on who will win the game if you want, but FanDuel also has bets for who scores a touchdown first, how many points each team will score, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $200, $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Okay, third segment here going along. We've talked about how the truth is never hard to say. And we thank Dewey Wingard for telling the truth and speaking the truth that reflects basically how all of us have felt all season. Now I'm going to talk about why I believe bad players are allowed. Remember I said Doug's your favorite uncle? That's how it kind of feels to be around him. And that's not, I think I'm somebody's favorite uncle, right? Maybe. I hope. If I'm not, okay. And in fact, I am. My niece Janelle tells me that all the time. You're my favorite uncle. So it's hard to tell people no when that's who you are. You're like a protector, right? I think that's kind of how Doug is, man. I could be wrong about that, but I just feel like he's the kind of guy, like I said, you're not going to fear him in order to, you have to have reverence for him. You have to have a fear of disappointing him. He's not going to drill sergeant you to death. He ain't Dan Campbell that's going to intimidate you by standing in front of you, yelling at you and all of that stuff. Although I think some of that. Doug Marrone was a little bit Dan Campbellish. And it doesn't mean it's always going to guarantee success when you have a certain personality. But when you watch the Jaguars play, there's something that happens over and over and over again. It's the bad things, bad plays, bad mistakes, and they happen over and over again from the same people in the same way, week after week after week after week. And it costs them. And Doug even mentioned it yesterday. It has cost them all year. Bad penalties, not being able to turn the ball over is another thing. And, that's why I said it appeared to me that he was pointing at the defense. The Jaguars defense has 8 turnovers. 8. They got 8 turnovers, bro. It's unreal. 8. I just can't believe it, man. And 8 ain't enough, unlike that TV show. It's not enough. And Kendrick Lamar says it's not enough. The Jacksonville Jaguars are just a bad team, and they do the same things over and over again. But they don't do the good things over and over again. That's called being consistent. The only thing they're consistent of is consistently making mistakes constantly. And it seems like there are no consequences for it. So if Trent Baalke does have one thing that can separate him from Doug Peterson, he could say, if there's one tangible thing he can point to, he said, team doesn't play hard, man. They play soft. They're allowed to keep doing things over and over again without consequences. And I don't coach, but that would be a really, really good, compelling argument he could make. But then as soon as he makes that argument, I turn and say, okay, well, who told me to hire him? You did. You see how it works? We're not letting anybody out of you can't come from underneath the umbrella of accountability. Not when it comes to this foolishness. There are no consequences for bad play. All that rotating they do over there, they do all of that rotating like everybody's equal, but dudes are allowed to continue to make mistakes over and over again without the threat of those splinters from that bench pushing through those shorts that they wear every single week. See, they're not afraid. You're already rotating them anyway. So, I mean, what's that? Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm going to miss. He going to take me out? He take me out anyway when I do something good. He takes me out when I'm supposed to be in the game. It is maddening. It is maddening, man. It is just watching them play. They're undisciplined. They're soft. They're passive. They don't particularly, you don't watch them play the way you watch other teams and go, nice. Now, when's the last time you did that for Jacksonville? Nice. There you go. You got them on their heels now. There you go. You haven't had the Jaguar. You have not had a reason to say that. And that's because it just seems like they're just out there trying to figure it out, man. Them dudes ain't out there trying to win a thing, knowing that they're going to win. They're just hoping to win. They're wishing to win. They don't know how to win. The only thing they know how to do is do the same things that make you scratch your head every single time. And I know it sounds like a broken record, but at this point, you got to just tell the truth. they don't play or sound like a team that has the reverence for their coach, like they really care whether they disappoint him or not. They just don't sound like that. The same way when y'all were saying, when Trevor got hurt, how Doug didn't go out there and check on him, and Doug didn't really say anything, and Doug kind of defended the other guy. See that passiveness I'm talking about? That we're all one big family. No, it's the Jaguars and everybody else, dude. It's Duval till we die. And see, that feeling that you got from the day after when Doug did that, to me now has a bigger meaning to it, because it looks like that's what that entire team is. I ain't did nothing to nobody. It ain't my fault. That's what it is. It's time, y'all. It's time. When is it going to happen? When is he going to announce it? It's going to take that to really wake these fans back up again, and wake everybody up about what the future prospects are. The fans don't even care. This is the first time somebody has told a fan, hey, man, y'all don't even have a top 3 pick, and they don't even care about who the pick is going to be. They don't care about how much salary cap space. They don't even care about the new stadium that's going to be constructed in a few years. They don't care. And right now, it's all because of how bad this team is. The fans feel exactly like the players play. Y'all won. Jaguars fans, you are not wrong, but the grief from this team has finally broken you. That's why I want to thank Dewey Wingard for sounding so honest. And it was almost like they stuck that microphone in a fan's mouth yesterday. Dewey said, you know what? Ain't no excuses. We're just a bad team. We've been like this. We've been here before. Everybody knows what it's like around here. Man, I'm telling you. Somebody else can learn something from that over there. Be honest. Stop trying to CYA. You know what that means. Say it. Speak it just like Dewey did. We ain't got but 2 weeks left, man. You might as well just go ahead and let it all out. I'll be here tomorrow, same time, same place, with more grief counseling for you if you are a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, because like Dewey said, we're good at this because we get a lot of practice. Y'all make sure you tap into Locked On NFL. If you want to hear something about a bunch of playoff teams, tap over to Locked On NFL, man, because I'm over there going ballistic in the barbershop, talking about all of these contenders, and then you realize I do that show and then have to turn around and do this one, and you realize exactly how far the Jaguars are got to go, because the mentality that those fans have is just totally different from the one of the Jaguars fans, and understandably so. Tyler Rowland will hit you with the best sports stories early in the morning, and then I'll come back in the barbershop 2 times a day at Locked On NFL. Make sure you tap in. All right, man, we'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same place here, for more Truth Serum as the Jaguars look to close out this 3-12 season. And hopefully, I guess it'll be 3-14, or maybe they'll beat the Titans. We do have a crossover this week, believe it or not, between us and the Titans. We should just play the one we did 2 weeks ago, because it seems like they're in the same boat that they were back then. Until then, you guys take care. We'll see you next time here on Locked On Jaguars.